Yo, what is up everyone? So today I'm going to show you how you can create a React sidebar using the updated React router version 6.4. So let me just show you really quick. Basically, this is an update video. We can change our tabs just like that. You can see that right there and go back home. And this is an update video to a video I made 2+ years ago. And pretty much we're going to be updating it with the new React router version 6.4, which we can go through all this docs too in a second. But without further ado, let's hop into our code editor. Let's get to it. All right, so here I'm in my terminal. So go ahead and navigate into your folder you plan on making this project, or if you're already there, feel free to go ahead and get started. And you can also do this in your code editor, terminal, same thing. But let's go ahead and type in npx space create dash react dash app, and then space name this whatever you want. I'll just say React sidebar dash v6.4 dash yt, and once you have your name, press enter. Now this might take 20 years to finish, but once it does, I will see you once it is complete, and then we get started on coding is sidebar out. All right, it took forever, but we are here now, and we can go and navigate into our project by simply doing cd, and then you can say react dash sidebar dash v6.6 or whatever you named it, and it's right there in case you forgot. And then go ahead, and I have this set up with my code editor, but if you don't, just simply you can type in code dot and it should open up the file with VS Code. If you're using a different code editor or you don't have this set up, simply just search the how to open a file with the code dot, and you should be able to find a solution. So now let's go ahead and let me just drag this over. I had this previous localhost up earlier, but we just go here, keep it like right there. Yeah. All right, there we go. So now if I refresh, it should be not showing because it was a previous app I had opened up. But let's do Command J or Control. Actually, yeah, toggle terminal here on Windows 2 should work fine. But yeah, open up your terminal, and then let's go and type in npm start. So if everything loaded properly, this should show us the React logo spinning, and there we go. So now we can go to our src index.js, and you can see we got here, and then our app.js, we got this, which I can go and just type like just delete this h1. Well, let's make it h1 tag first. Yo, what up? And boom. Okay, so everything is working. However, with this new React router version, I had to change up a few project structure files and essentially delete everything. Now you can keep these if you want to, but first things we need to do is install some new things such as React router, and also we're gonna be doing React icons. You can use whatever icon you want, but in order to do that, we have to first go, and you could close out the terminal by doing the Control C, or you could just open up another one. But I already did Control C, might as well keep it there. So now we can just do npm install, say React dash router, and then hit space, and we'll do React dash icons. And we might have to add it more later, but we'll just see for now. Keep this simple, step by step. And then let's see, we have this, and there's a little error now, but no big deal. Click X, and now we have React router version 6.4.2. and also we got React icons right here. So let's go and go back to our app. Let's close this stuff out here, and let's go and let me hop over to the React router websites. So let's go to featured overview, and we're gonna start off with what they have, because currently a lot of videos actually just a year or two ago were all previous versions of React router, and they made a lot of updates. Even after this version 6, it's even more updates that I wanted to implement in our new sidebar. So for this setup, it's a little different from our old video 2 years ago, but this is just the way I did, and feel free to refactor this however makes sense for you. But I'm just gonna go and select everything by holding bottom and shift clicking, and then right click and just delete it. Just evaporates. There we go, gone. And now if we refresh, is this going to not work? Well, obviously Command J. I need to do npm start first, and then what's gonna say is gonna be looking for an index file. So what I need to do is, well, make an index.js file. So let's go src, right click, not new folder, new file, index.js, And then if I technically run npm start, it'll see what it says, and then it's basically gonna have this like empty page. But I mean, at least everything is running successfully, so we're good here, and we can fill this stuff out. But it's a little different because the create react template and even my old video, we have a different setup. So let's just go to the docs because I want to show you, one, if you've never read through them, how to take a look at it. And obviously some things in documentation is not perfect to what you're making, so you have to refactor some of the stuff. So first things first, this is client-side routing, and this is the recommended route, or literally the recommended thing they say, not just saying route by itself, but what they recommend to do currently with the newest version, because even with version 6, there's a little bit different things. And I'll show you both ways because there's another way where you just cover everything with route instead of this method, because this one can look a little intimidating at first. But basically, let's copy this in and let's paste this in here, and then let us drag, and I'll explain exactly what's going on. So now if I save this, we're gonna see one thing first. It's, let's go back to our thing. It's gonna say React Router DOM. Let me go to my package.json, and we need to go ahead and fix this. So we have to go and hit the plus sign, npm install react-router-dom, hit enter, and we should see this pop up, React Router DOM. There we go. All right, so look, check this out. Let's close out the terminal. This is essentially the new setup, and essentially they have it where you label a const router, and then they have this create browser router, and you pass an array and have objects, and essentially these objects are your routes. So for example, like this would be your home essentially, this would be your about, and then you have to make custom components afterwards. But pretty much, let's go and let's create the actual folder structure first, because right now if you've never seen this before, you're like, bro, what is this? And even when I first I was reading it, I was like trying to understand, because it's such a different concept from the original setup I had. But basically, let's just try to make this as simple as possible. So what do we need? We need, one is a CSS file. So let's start off with the basic. All right, hold on, what's going on? New file, app.css. Now I made everything in the app CSS just for simplicity's sake, but obviously if you end up having components, feel free to label them there. And let's do a new folder. Let's just call this components. And in there, this is where we're gonna make the navigation menu. So essentially the sidebar and the little nav. So let's do right click on the component folder, and let's just call this one navbar.js. Now if you watch my first sidebar video 2 years ago plus, it's basically the same setup, except the actual let's name this real quick, sidebar, just say sidebar data.js. Besides the index.js is going to be a little different. And let's do new new file, routes this time. So new folder, let's just call this routes. I had this name as pages last time, but call it routes now. And let's do new file. Feel free to name this whatever you want to, by the way. And we'll start off with our home page. That's one, aka our home route. New file again, let's just say products.js, and let's do new file, and we'll say reports.js. Now I'm gonna keep it at 3 just because I mean, that's enough to see exactly the concept, but ideally you could make, infinite routes you want, So here we'll go over to React app, and so currently right now, let's see, we have our path and we have the element. So the element is your component. So you're probably wondering, how do we make a component in this new version? Well, let's go to home first, and pretty much let's just make basic, just like my old design. Import React from apostrophe, or let's do lowercase React, and then we can say function home parentheses curly brackets, and we can just return parentheses, enter, and we'll just say like div, and I'm gonna have the class for this one, class name equals to home for this page, and then under or enter that div, we go with h1 tag, we'll just say home, and we just gotta export this. So export defaults home, save it, and now we can go and let's copy this in. So copy here, go to our products, and we'll go home. Yeah, so highlight the home, and then if you do Command D, it should be Control D, I think, on Windows. But you can just change this now to products or whatever you named your route, and then paste here again, highlight, Command D, and we'll say reports. All right, there we go. So that's pretty much done for the actual routes. That we're not gonna really mess with this anymore. And what I want to do now is let's work on making sure this is actually working. So first thing is we can do is we can change this element, and we can turn this into a components, aka this start off with the products, because this is not going to be the about section. We don't even have that. So let's just say here we'll make the actual component. We'll say products, and it's basically the less than symbol, and then you just slash, basically your typical way you import components here. And then for the path, we'll just call this one products, and we can save this now. And now it's gonna say products is not defined. So we could do a little trick, is if you do minus the S and type S, and you see it as auto loads up, you can press enter. And what that should have done is imported it, but it looks like sometimes it doesn't do it. So if your code editor is being lame, you can do this, just import products from, and then we can just say /routes/products, which is again the file. So we're in the routes folder, and then we're there. And now we can save this, and now it's gonna say project is not a match corner file. Oh, so I need to rename this. I shouldn't have put a capital. I mean, again, this is all name preference. I'll just keep this lowercase. Yeah, there we go. So now if I click on this about us, you can see the URL has updated, and it throws us the error. Now this error page actually have this new error element prop which you can add in. And they have, if you go to the docs and search, let me scroll down, error element, you'll see a lot of details regarding this. And even on the tutorial, if we go up to the main part tutorial, there's a section right where they have the actual error element. Let me see if I can get to it. So right here it talks about, where's that? No, that's not it. Errors right here, handling errors, and essentially you would create an error page, and this is their code that they wrote, but you can change that up, and then they add that in there. But with this method though, at least the one I created, the way I have it set up, it wasn't necessary and wasn't working at the time. But if you were to do it just manually, the way they have it set up in the tutorial, it should give you that if you need the error pages here. But we're gonna bypass that because we're just gonna focus mainly on the sidebar and the routing aspects. And now what we can do is, one, we need to change what we just saw. So it says links to about, and that's the reason why it's throwing us the error. So if I were to go here and change this to products, save it, change this to products, save it here. Let's erase this, and we can hit products, and look, we got our products route page right here. Right here, 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Okay, so the current setup with the new React Router 6.4 version looks like it's going well. And this looks weird if you don't know what this is, but basically we would switch this out and put this as the home components. And I'm not sure why it's not importing automatically, so we'll do Shift Alt or Option down arrow, go here, Command D or Control D, and just say home, save it, go back, boom, look at that. And now if we had obviously the route part, we could add that in, but we're gonna actually make that custom with the components section, and we might as well add in the reports now too. So let's go ahead and just copy one more time, and this would be our third route, which would be the reports. Let's just highlight this right here, Command D, and say well, actually we'll do lowercase, but then we'll change the component to a capital R, and we'll just add that in here, and Command D or Control D, reports. So now if we were to go to slash products, we got products, and then if we do slash reports, we got reports. So check that out. Okay, so all of our routes are working fine. Now all we need to do is, let me say real quick, we need to start creating the sidebar. So the main concept, and there's another way I'm gonna show you too with the routes where you wrap everything. And it's similar to the old version of React Router, so don't worry in case you don't like this setup. And let's go ahead and start adding that stuff in. So first of all, let's go to our navbar.js, and we can go ahead and start adding in our code. Now this is very basic, and it's literally my same setup I had from 2 years ago, minus a few changes, but we'll just go ahead and import React. And we have to use state, so we can update some states, and we can go React, import from React. And then we have to import the icons. So we'll say import, and this is just the way I did it with the little asterisk, and it's called FA icons. And we'll import this from React-icon/FA. We can do the shift option down arrow, shift alt down arrow, change this one to AI icons, change this one here, AI, and we need to import link from React router DOM, so React router DOM, and import the sidebar data, which we are gonna be adding in a second. Sidebar data. This is the way I did it too, by the way. From /sidebar data, which is the file we had right here, and we can say imports. Let's do /app.css for some styling, and last thing we'll just import the icon context that we can wrap everything and style everything accordingly regarding the actual icons from React-icons. Alright, so we finished the imports. Let's say this really quick. And let's see, right now, oh, I forgot to put import as here. That's why it's showing me the error. Okay, now we can save. And now we just need to make a function, call it navbar, add in some code, and then we have a navbar. So we're just gonna say function navbar, parentheses, curly braces, and let's go ahead and let's go under here, say return, parentheses, add in little fragment here, enter. Let's go and say icon. So this is from React icon. So if you're like, what the heck is this? Don't worry. It's just for the icons. Icon context provider. And for the value, I'm going to set it to curly brace. And in here, if you look at the docs, you basically just add in color and styling. So I'm going to set the color as undefined because I want to have a specific style when I do this. So I have it wrapping everything. And here we can just create a div. So I'll say div class name equal to, let's call this navbar, name your class whatever you like. And we're gonna go and add in our first icon, which will be the FA icons dot FA capital B bars. And we want to have a thing to happen when I click on it. So I'll say on click equals to, and this is gonna be a little function that shows the sidebar. So show sidebar. And that's how we're going to update this to have that effect. So essentially this is the little 3-bar icon we have right here. And then underneath this, well, first off, let's make sure we wrap this in by a link. So let's go here, and above it, we'll say link to equals to, let's just keep it nothing right now. And let's say class name equals to menu dash bars. And then select this link, Command X, Control X, click under and wrap that with that link. And then outside of this div right here, we can go underneath this, and we can say nav. Let's do nav and say class name equal to curly braces, and then this is where we're gonna bring in our state. So I'll have a state where I set it up as sidebar, and we're gonna use operators, turn operators, where say question mark, and basically it's saying if it's active or not, do this. So if it is, we'll just say nav dash menu, and we'll put it as active. Outside of that, we'll do colon, we'll say else nav dash menu. So basically if it's active or it's not. And then inside of our nav, we are gonna go ahead and add in a UL, and we're going to say class name equals to nav-menu-items. I'll just name it this, and I want to have the on-click function of show sidebar, which I'll create in a second. We haven't done that yet. So basically when we click on the items, it does something too. And then we'll say li equals to class name of navbar dash toggle, close it out, and then we can say link, set that equals to the hashtags here, and we'll say class name equal to menu dash bars, close it out, and then we'll have AI icons dots AI outline close. Hopefully spell everything right. It should work there. And then outside of our li, we're gonna go inside of this, still in the ULs, make sure you're in the right spot, and then we're gonna do curly braces, and now we're gonna bring in the sidebar data that we haven't created yet. But we're gonna just map through this data, and pretty much what's gonna happen is we'll just have an item and I'll have an index, and then outside of this first parenthesis we're gonna have an arrow function, curly braces, and then we're gonna return some data, which you will see this all makes sense in a second. So basically I want to return an li, and I have a key equal to an index, and then we're also gonna have the class name equals to the item dot cname. And don't worry, once we make the sidebar data, all of this is gonna make sense because I'll have that already listed. And then we'll have a link, which basically brings us to equals the item dot path. And then after that, we're gonna close this out, and then I'll just have a span tag, and then pretty much here inside of the span will be the item dot title. Okay, so we need to just go down here, export default the nav bar, and then we need to update our state really quick so we can actually do stuff. So we'll say const, and we're gonna pass in an array, say sidebar, comma, just name this set sidebar, and I want that to equal use states and keep it at false right now. And then under, we're gonna have the const show sidebar equal to just empty parentheses, arrow function, and we're just gonna set the sidebar to sidebar. So this is essentially a state wherever we click, it runs these right here functions, and then pretty much open, closes. And now we need to do the sidebar data. Okay, so let's go first off. Let's import all of these. I think it is FA, AI, and OI. So I added another one. Let's copy this here, go here. We don't need state right now, so we can delete this. I can do shift down arrow. What is icons? We'll have is IO from, let's do IO. Save that really quick. And then what I want to do is, why does it not say? Okay. Then I want to add in our data. So let's just say export const, and this will be the name sidebar data equal to an array, and then we have in our objects. So now this is how I set it up. So I have my title. Again, you can name this whatever you want to. This will be my home page. Then the path. This will be the slash. Then I have my icons, colon. This will be the AI icons dot AI fill home. And if you're wondering where am I getting these icon names, go to React Icons, the website. You'll see they have specific icons for this. And then CName, I just named that. That's short for class name. And this would be our nav dash text, comma, well outside that, comma, and then I'll save. So now this is what I have on our nav bar right here. So key just to know where we're clicking, and then class name item, which I just put here, dot class name. So item, well, I just made that name up, dot cname. So this would bring the class name. Name this literally whatever class name you want to. Here I want it to link to item.path. So if you want to change this to item 123, this would be item 123 dot whatever you have in the data. So just make sure, in case you're like, why did I name item? Just literally name it whatever you want. And then that would be dot path would be your flash there, and then title again, that is what you call it. So now if you were to copy this down again you could change this now from that to say products. This would be /products. This would still be nav text, and then here I can just say let's do like fa icons dot fa cart plus, and then that's basically how it is there. So to save you guys some time, I'm gonna copy in the rest of the icons from GitHub, but basically you would just redo that, add in the icon you want, and then you have it there. So give me a second, let me add that really quick. All right, so I went ahead and just added in the remaining ones. If you want to screenshot this, you don't have to go off, you can just type it in like that, feel free. So I'll save it, and then we'll go back to navbar, save that here. And then if I refresh my screen, currently this is what we got going on. And now what do we need to do? First off is we need to go update the app CSS. So again, normally I usually code these out, but that's gonna take literally forever. So let's go and save some time again. I'll copy that code in really quick. Give me 1 second. So I went ahead and copied in the CSS code. Again, you can get that on GitHub too. And now let's refresh the page here. And looks like Command J. Let's do Control C first. Let's do npm start. 1 second. Just make sure everything is set up. Okay, so now it looks like this. And then, oh yeah, that's why it's not working, because we haven't updated the index.js. So what we need to do now is finish up the index.js. And if you're looking at this, it took me a minute to figure out, but figure it out eventually to show you how I did it. Right now we have these 3 paths, right? And with the previous version of React Router, we could just straight up add in a navbar component from here, just literally above, and it would just show up on every page. But the problem is, here, you can't do that. So we have to create a layout. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna just say const, and I'll call this one app layouts. Name it whatever you want to, equals to parentheses, arrow function, and then we'll do a curly brace here, and I'll just pass in the fragments. And inside of this, we're gonna say the navbar, and basically updates the navbar, close it out, and then we need to add in an outlet, which if you want to check it out, this actually has a let's just go and see if I can find the docs outlet. See, what if they have it where I can click it? Yeah, so here shows outlet. So again, if you want to see more details regarding this, feel free to look into the docs, and basically that's how I have it set up right there. And now you can see how we have this here. So the last thing is, now we can see our home. Check this out, drag it out, but we still don't have the actual sidebar parts, and we're also missing the navigation. So we have to put this into our routes. So the way we do this is, we have to create another object here. Let's add in a comma, and pretty much this is the element what we just created called the app layout. So we'll say the app layout component, just like this. And then outside of this, we need to pass in the children. So now this is where it gets interesting. We got to do colon and then another array, except we'll press enter here, and then we have to select all of our previous routes and pass it into this. That way it's wrapping every single thing with this layouts. And let me make sure if I have everything properly. Let's see, this one's right there. So let's do this. Let me inspect what's missing. What's in my console? Right now it's not showing anything. So let's go here, drag this back out. And I believe I need to add one more thing, which is the app.css. So let's go. Let's just take this from navbar. I'm gonna retype it. So go here, add this in. Intent importance is for side project. Wait a minute. Is it not inside of? What are you talking about? Oh, my path file. So now I'll save it. So now it's saying it still isn't showing. So let me see what is happening right now. All right, so I realized we need to go to navbar.js, and I was missing another item in here, which should be the curly brace item.icon. So we'll save that really quick. And it looks like there's a piece that shouldn't be here. So let me see, make sure everything is right. Oh, and this is the other little mistake. It should be a parenthesis. All right, so let's go here. All right, what happened? Go like this, and then I can get rid of that, and I'll save it. and boom, there you go. Oh, little tiny details, guys. But look, now if I go over here, click it, it's not showing. So let's fix that. Now it's not showing our actual sidebar, so that should just be a simple let's see, show sidebar. That's why it shouldn't be normal sidebar, it should be exclamation mark. There we go. Okay, so I fixed it. Little bugs, we figured it out. So right now, if we go here, don't worry, we're not finished yet because I have to show you the original route method. But now, like, we click on reports. Oh yeah, one is I didn't import the CSS really quick. So 1 second. I'll add the imports first, and then actually no, that's why the class names on here aren't right. Products, reports. I think I just kept them all as I think I did all as home technically. That way, no, it's a lowercase. Okay, that makes sense. So it's lowercase first, and then this one's lowercase here. Okay, so now I'll save this really quick. So now we go here, check it out, and this is the original way, right? So at least the newest version. But the previous setup, which I want to show you because it's important you understand this previous setup, because a lot of the newer updates even show this. And basically, you would just say const router equal to create browser router parenthesis, and then you'd say creates routes from elements, which we already have this updated here, and then you do another parenthesis, hit enter. I know it looks crazy, don't worry. And then basically you'd put in your route. So instead of doing like the switch we had beforehand, you'd say routes, the elements, and then you would do equal, and just like we did below, you would do again curly braces, app. We'll have to put the app layout like this, slash, and then afterwards you would do wrapping this entire routes. So this would be your nav bar essentially. You'd wrap that with routes inside. You know, crazy, right? It's weird looking at it like routes, but then you just say path equals to the slash, and then you do the element like this. Instead of doing components, basically you'd say elements and do curly braces slash, or not. Let's sign home, add in the component like that, and then close it out. And then you would just copy this down until it says like, where's it at? Products. Change that to products, and then this one would be reports. Change that to reports. So now if I were to go here and close this out, I'll save it, I'll refresh. These now use these new updates, by the way, but we go here and everything is still works, and you can see the URL works just like this. And then if we inspect page, we see no errors right now. And this is how I managed to create the sidebar, React sidebar using React Router version 6.4. If there's any additional ways to refactor this, definitely let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to start posting a lot more videos updating with React Router version 6.4. So if you want to see that, definitely comment down below, like and subscribe. See you in the next one.